Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I'm welcoming myself. So, this is what I'm told will be a quick transmission, but as my human tries to decipher to communicate, we'll see. Because I think I always say, hey, this is going to be quick, and then it's not. So, buckle up, sit tight, get comfy, get a tea, coffee, whatever your pick your poison. And I want to talk a little bit about knowingness. I want to talk about it in relation to a spiritual journey. Most of you here are on a twin flame journey. And I want to talk about that experience of touching the divine. And some of us experience this through connection with another, through love. Some of us experience this through like I'm being shown like a plant medicine experience. Anything that feels very transformational and feels like, oh my God, life will never go back to what it was before. Like I can't unknow what I now know. Sometimes it's a dark night of the soul. Sometimes it's a lot of shadow work. Sometimes it's like a tower moment that at the time doesn't feel good, but it reveals a lot to us. And what I'm being told is this last new moon that we just had was a big one for that, where it was just, I can't unknow what I know now. Like all this clarity, all the ahas, like everything just flooding at once and showing you the truth. And whenever we have these beautiful, transformational, divine experiences, I struggle with words to encompass, but I think you guys will know what I'm talking about when I'm saying that, because I think even before like being on any sort of a conscious spiritual journey, I think we've had experiences like this, as simply as going on vacation, right? Traveling to another place, experiencing a new culture, new people, new environment, new sights, new smells, new tastes, and just feeling so alive and feeling so in your joy, right? And then you go back to work or you go back to school or whatever you do, and then you slowly kind of lose that experience, and the intensity gets less and less, and you're coming back to kind of like the grind, right? So it's that similar thing, but what I'm kind of referring to it in like a spiritual aha experience. However, whatever triggered it, however you got there, however you achieved it, it's this blissful, like you're in the oneness, you're in the divine, right? So the question is, how do we maintain that? How do we stay in that space of the knowing of all of that we just learned, and we don't let it weaken over time, and we don't let it leave us? And what they're telling me is it's a choice. Okay. It is an absolute choice. And there's some tools or tricks, to help us maintain it and to stay in it longer. And it's one of the things that the twin flame journey teaches so well and is so difficult for so long, but it's trusting the knowingness. It's trusting your feeling, the vision, the just the truth over what you see, right? Over the 3D reality, over the illusion, over the Maya, over this dream state that we've all created, that we've all co-created. But it may not align with our truth. It may not align with who we really are. And, with the twin flame journey in particular, we feel this deep kind of transcendent love and this transcendent knowing. And yet sometimes it's in conflict. What's happening in the physical and in the 3D is in conflict with what we're feeling and knowing internally. And there's this conflict, and there's this contrast that arises, right? Especially kind of sometimes in the beginning of your connection, sometimes right when separation happens. It kind of depends on you and the journey and in your specific, what's happening for you. But what all great masters, spiritual masters, know and practice is cultivating their trust and their choice in knowing versus illusion, staying in what they know over what they see, cultivating a deep, deep self-reliance, self-trust, cultivating a very strong inner world that is in truth, in resonance, and in harmony with who you really are, who you remember yourself to be, the truth of who you really are. And yes, why the master title is earned and not just given, why the knowledge is not just, sent out to the masses, the millions of people on the planet, why it's secret knowledge, why it's a mystery school, is because it must be earned. It's not just given. The master title is not just given. And that work right there of seeing the illusion and choosing in every moment to act out of your knowingness, out of your truth, versus the Maya, versus the illusion, how everyone else is acting, that is in alignment. It goes along with that tidbit. I maybe only shared this on Patreon, maybe not, I don't remember, but where the intuition doesn't make sense. Fear and the ego will always make sense because it's going to fit into the mold of the Maya. It's going to fit into the illusion. Whereas your intuition will sometimes guide you on things that literally don't make sense. This is why it's masterful work. This is what we're here to do. This is why the twin flame journey is a foolproof system. It's the golden carrot, as I recently shared on the Patreon. It's the golden carrot that's dangled. And it's the thing that can always bring you right back on track. So you can get as far away as possible. You can be in so much contrast and so much illusion and so much Maya, but you're always going to be guided back to that truth and that knowing, because it just won't quit. It just won't die, right? No matter how much we beg for it to, right? No matter how upset we get and throwing our hands up. So this decision to act, to keep acting on what you know, rather than what the world tells you, rather than what the world shows you. This is the work. This is what we're here to do. And this cultivates such a strength within us, such a deep trust. This also moves us deeper and deeper into our inner truth that allows us to be energetic beings, where we are in flow, where we are becoming more and more energetic. We're not abandoning the physical body. We're taking the physical body with us, and we're moving into a higher realm. This is kind of that split in timelines. This is the bifurcation, the trifurcation that many teachers talk about. So you become more and more energetic, and you're more and more in the flow. And it's less about controlling your environment or controlling the outer world. You kind of just lose interest. You just surrender. It's not about, oh, I'll feel better when A or B or C happens, and I'll get myself to this point. It's the choice. I'm choosing my knowingness now. I'm choosing in this very moment, in this now moment, that my truth trumps everything else. Nothing else is stronger. My soul resonance, my remembering who I really am, is my reality. And that's you as creator. That's as you as creator being. That's as you being an expression of the divine, being an expression of the Godhead. That is you living in your truth. And also not abandoning the world. It's like that quote, live in the world, but not of the world. I think it's something like that. You're not abandoning this world. You're not abandoning the physical body, right? That gets into a lot of inversion and distortion when we're guided to leave the physical body. That's the only way we can achieve peace. No, it's taking it with us. It's evolving with the physical density, just like Earth herself is ascending, right? It's recognizing that it is part of the whole. And this is such a beautiful truth that came through in a session recently, and I'm guided to share it here. The body doesn't house the soul. The soul houses the body. So the soul is infinite. The soul is touching everything and everything else. The soul is the one. It's the oneness. It's the all, right? And God is housing it all. God is housing all the soul energy. It's all within. We're taught that the soul is within the body. And of course, that kind of encourages us to worship the body or come into distortions around the body. But even just that simple truth can reframe your perspective. And that's why we understand auras. That's why we understand the etheric body, right? The auric body, the energy fields. That's why energy is what it is. That's why you can be physically at a separation and a distance from somebody and you still feel them so deeply. You're never not connected. You're never not separated. And this is why part of this journey's kind of mission is to heal the illusion of separation. Therefore, you must become a master and heal the separation within you. That's what we're here to do. Is it easy? Absolutely not. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, it is not. But it is earned. This peace, this enlightenment, this cultivation of truth, of remembering, it is so earned. and it is worth every penny, right? It is worth every moment of pain coming into that. So this is what all masters have done, right? We talk about Yeshua. We talk about, I'm reading Yogananda's autobiography right now. So Yogananda was 100% a master. You know, he talks about Babaji. We just had so many of these examples, these beautiful Christed beings, right? Christ consciousness beings. And Yeshua was not the only one who've achieved this. They achieved this. Their reality was so strong that the world could no longer gaslight them. Their truth, their remembering was so powerful that it didn't matter any of this other stuff. The world morphed and changed for them. Walking on water, right? Or whatever, all the things. So we all have this power within us. We all have this capability within us. And those of us that are lucky enough, yes, I'm saying lucky enough to be on a twin flame journey, we kind of get the cheat codes, right? You know, like when you used to play like computer games, I never actually did. I never played video games and I never played computer games. But I remember like as a kid, like the people that did would always talk about like there were cheats where you could like cheat the system, or like you could find this code and you could bypass that level or something. It's kind of what the twin flame journey is, right? It's like I get why people can be envious and jealous of it, because it feels so untouchable when you're stuck in that Maya and you're stuck in that separation. And then you see someone that's holding this code, even if they're not behaving that way, but you can feel it in them. People can feel it. And it feels like they're not chosen. So I can fully understand and have compassion and empathy. But the thing is we just simply volunteered to be the leader and the way shower so that everyone can get on this frequency. We're not special. We're not better. We just volunteered to basically build the city so that you could come in and move into the city, right? We're like, we'll do all the hard manual labor, no problem, because we want to know what it feels like to be a master. We want to feel that. We want to understand that. That's all we're doing. That's really all we're doing. So how do we accomplish this, maintaining this high, blissful union, magic, beauty state? How do we carry it into our everyday life? We choose moment to moment our knowingness over the world. We choose what we feel, what we know, what we resonate with. We remember who we really are, and we choose it, even when it's hard. And if we get off the path, then we go over here for a year, for 10, for 30 seconds, we guide ourselves home. We always guide ourselves back home. And we always use our free will choice to choose knowingness. And when we do that, we invite in all the benevolent support of the higher realms and the higher beings, your higher self, guides, angels, you name it, all of it, all of the woo-woo you could possibly want. If you choose it to be real and you choose to want to experience it and you believe in it, then it's real. If you don't believe in it, that's okay. Then it's not real for you. It doesn't make it any less real, right? Truth is not flexible. Truth is just truth. And it has no preference whether you accept it or not. So it's all within. But there's a second way. And this is the way I've found personally in my own journey to be the most beneficial. And it could just be part of my life path. But every time I tap into a Twin Flames Akashic Records, every time I tap into their energy and their aura and their soul, I almost always see this in their future. It's going to express and manifest in different ways. But you teach what you most need to know. So you, 2:22 on my clock, coming in as a twin flame, have chosen to be a teacher on this. So whatever you struggle with the most, whatever has been the most difficult aspect of this journey for you, and that's going to vary. And you'll probably share it a bit with your twin. Like you'll each have one of the polarities of it. One of you might be really strong at this and the other weaker, and vice versa. Like you'll probably share the similar aspects of one of the same whole, right? Half of the same whole, that sort of thing. But that struggle is exactly what you are here to teach. And the more you do it, the more you strengthen your knowingness and your remembrance of who you truly are. The more you do it, you strengthen that. So the more that I get on here and I show up and I share and I vulnerably share in a protected container of the Patreon, and I talk to you guys about my journey and my experience, and I don't hide and I don't pretend, the more I strengthen my truth and my knowing, the more I feel the receiving of what I'm giving, the more real it becomes. And I'm using myself as an example here. It does not have to be teaching like this in the way that I am. It is going to vary for each of you. But the trick is sharing and communicating this knowingness, even when you are not sure. Maybe you're the world teaches us that we need to be an expert and an absolute perfectionist at something before we're ready to go and teach it. And that is not the way. That's not the way, because we come into the knowing, we come into it deeper and deeper and deeper, and there's iterations as we strengthen that within ourselves. And one of the ways, I gave you the first way, right? So the first way is living and acting out of your knowing versus the world, right? Versus what you see. The second way, teach what you know. Teach what you are working to know. Give back. Be in service. This is what we say when we say mission. Mission doesn't mean you have to earn money doing that. The world has that backwards when it comes to purpose. And it could be as simple, and I know I've shared this, but I'm going to reiterate it. It could be as simple as you remembering who you are, becoming who you truly are, each and every moment, holding that vibration, and just living. And living for you could be like waking up, having breakfast, hanging out outside, playing with a furry friend, connecting with a friend, eating some more, maybe reading a book, maybe doing some physical practice of yoga or running. Like, you don't have to be doing anything that the world deems good enough or acceptable. You don't have to be earning 6 figures in a month to be on mission, to be in your remembrance. In fact, the more that you are in remembrance and truth and knowing, the more that goal, that dream loses its charge, because you recognize the illusion in it. You recognize the untruths in it. So the more that you start to align, the less you need, the less you seek. And the irony is, that's when you receive it. Right? It's a great paradox, spiritual dichotomy, right? The more that you don't need it, the more that you receive it, right? People get really lost on that journey. People get really lost in the material. People get really lost in the status, in the celebrity, in the image, in the money, in the power. People get really, really lost in it. But what slowly starts to happen is whatever height of spiritual power that they had when they started, that really beautiful experience, that expression of divinity and love and magic, it starts to degrade itself as you place your God in something outside of yourself. If you place your God even in something like your ego or the external, the material, how you look, if that becomes your God, you degrade. If money becomes your God, you degrade. If seeking other people's approval becomes your God, you degrade, right? Anytime you abandon yourself, you degrade. And guess what? Just like we are learning, nothing is good or bad. The more you degrade, the more of a climb you may have back, but the more you're really going to know what you're not and what you're really here to do. As far as the pendulum swings, there's always the opposite. So no matter what depth of sorrow and suffering and pain and regret and shame and all of that you felt, if you felt it, then you have already received the opposite of it, because time is not real. So it all exists in one space. So you have actually already created the reality that you're experiencing the opposite of it. You just have to choose it. And you choose it by knowing and acting out of your knowing versus what the world is telling you or saying. And B, bonus, if you want a bonus point, you can start teaching it. You can start sharing your knowing to others. And the more you share, the more you strengthen that knowing. And it's going to look differently for everyone. I want to clarify that. It's going to look absolutely differently for everyone. This is the way I want to say it. The more that you cause another person, someone else to remember, the more you strengthen the remembering within you. So it doesn't even really have to look like teaching. That's just the best word I can use to explain it. But let's use this, causing someone else to remember. When you cause someone else to remember the truth, when you cause someone else to remember who they are, when you empower someone by you being who you are, and it could be as simple as you walking down the street, you don't even need to make eye contact with somebody, but maybe they observe your energy, and whether they consciously are aware of it or not, it sets something in motion within them. We are all catalysts for one another. We are all walking each other home. And believe it or not, the more and more of us that come into remembering and knowing, and we start acting out of this, we radically change this realm. We radically change everything we've created. So all the suffering, all the things you don't like in the world, all the things that cause you great pain and frustration, and please believe me, I am on the front lines with that. I see shit out in the world. I get infuriated. I get infuriated, right? But I also know that I'm doing my part. I also know that anger is what propels me. It's what moves me when I use it in a righteous way. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't cause me in stagnancy. I don't get mad at myself. I don't get mad at other people. I don't blame. I don't shame. I allow it to move me forward into choosing knowingness. And the more and more we do this, the more and more we change the game. We change literally the game. We're playing in a game that we've all co-created, and we're shifting. We're shifting the board. We're drastically changing it. And we're already seeing it. I don't know if things may look really dark and bleak right now. There looks to be a lot of density and intensity. But if you're like me, you're noticing clues. You're noticing little golden nuggets. You're noticing little, you're like, that got resolved pretty quickly. Or that guilty person is actually there's some divine justice happening there. Instead of that person, going on to hurt someone else. They're actually getting their karma. I'm reminded of a story, and I'll share it. And I won't share specifics, but the divine just showed me, and this is a true story. The divine showed me, it's really horrible, but I'm going to share it because I'm guided. A young woman who was sexually harmed. There's so many things you're not supposed to share on YouTube, and people always do abbreviations, so I don't know. Anyways, she was the R word, R-A, and murdered. And I don't even think I'm supposed to say murdered. Whatever. I'm just going to stop trying to control it. And did not receive justice. The people, it was very clear. Everyone kind of knew who did it. The gentleman that did it. And unfortunately, like friends of his covered for him and things like that happened. As we know, it's a tale as old as time, unfortunately. Many of you have probably had past lives where this has happened to you. So it deeply resonates within. And the mom fought for justice, and the mom did not give up, and her friends and family did not give up on justice for her. And come to find out that the world did not provide that justice, but the divine did, because this man got into a car accident and became paralyzed from the waist down, and now lives his life not able to RAPED anyone or RAPE anyone ever again. So there's always a divine sort of justice. And I don't say that to be like, oh, yay, F that guy, in no way. It's just observing as a neutral, wow. Sometimes the world's not going to get it right, but the divine always will. The divine always will. And the point of that story is that was the old world. As we're moving into this bifurcation, the world is starting to get it right, because you and I are creating a new one. And we're saying, I don't stand for that anymore. And I'm not going to sweep it under the rug. And I'm not going to be too afraid to face my shadow. And I'm going to face whatever darkness within me, whatever power dynamics and control, oppression dynamics and stories that I have within me that created what happened to that girl. I'm going to heal that within me. And as I heal that within me, it heals within my brothers and sisters, and everything starts to shift, right? It's the domino effect. It's the domino effect. When we heal that and we start saying, I don't stand for that, and I'm not just going to be like, oh, wrong place, wrong time. Maybe you shouldn't have been wearing those shorts, right? This is the shit society has said up till this point. We have literally turned a blind eye, and we've literally enabled and endorsed this. Each and every one of us. We all have to take responsibility. And that's the thing a lot of us have avoided until now. But this is that knowingness. This is that remembering. We're remembering how powerful we are. Of course it matters what we do within, how we choose to live, how we choose to show up. Of course it matters. Sometimes we get so discouraged that we just say, it must not matter. And I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to try and survive. But that's not enough. And I think we know that now. Those of us on these journeys, we're really seeing how much power we hold. And it's changing the game. It's changing the game, y'all. Okay. I think that's it. Because I think there was a lot of nuggets in there. That would definitely, I think there's things in there that this would be worth a rewatch or two. Because these are some big, big concepts that the divine was channeling through me that they are really revealing to all of us right now. Really revealing to all of us. And just remembering that we all choose. We all have the free will choice to choose and to be. And these are just some support tools and tricks and ways to create that sovereignty within ourselves and to remember and to help someone else remember. Just help someone else remember who they truly are. It clears your karma too. I will say that. Not that you want to be living in this place of like, oh, my karma, right, wrong. Oh God, it's going to, you don't want to, no, you want to release those kind of dogmatic religious things. But it really does change the course of all your lives and all your future lives. And it changes everything when you give back in service in that way. All right. I hope this helps. I hope it supports. I'm sending you all a lot of love, big hugs. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the support and showing up here. If you found this channel, then you're truly meant to, because it's very much hidden as mystery knowledge often is, mystery school wisdom often is, because it's deserved. It's earned. It's not deserved. So you earn it. You all have the deservingness within you, but not all choose to earn it. And sessions are open. The Patreon is where I commit the most of my time and energy, and a lot of exciting things coming up beginning in February over there. So definitely check that out, and sending you guys a lot of hugs.